What's up guys, Sean here from Nelson Family Outdoors with another one. Taking a little trip to the range today. Didn't get out hunting this weekend, but I wanted to go out and shoot one of my favorite rifles that I own. This is my Soviet Dragoon M91 Mosin Nagant, chambered in 7.62 by 54. Now these things, people have been researching these things as you've been able to buy them for $100 forever, it seems like. I've always wanted one, finally got my hands on one. You could dig into the stampings on these rifles and the date stamped on them and everything else to see where they came from, you know, around the years that they were used, if they were used in the wars. So you can see right in here, guys, under the scope, the little Russian Soviet sickle and hammer insignia, 1938 stamp. Again, there's stamps all over this thing, and you could research them for days. And they got forums and websites all over for these Mosin Nagants, and I just think it's an awesome rifle. I wanted to take it out, do some shooting. I scoped mine a different way than what people usually do. People will buy the actual side mount brackets for these things. People will scout mount them like I did. People do all kinds of different things to scope these things because they're an older rifle. You definitely have to get around certain specifics of the rifle, including the bolt is one of the biggest ones. So this is the scope mount system that I went with. This is the picatinny rail that fits into the rear sight bracket on the rifle, the original rear sight bracket. Basically all you do is you pop out this rear pin here. This is the replacement that comes with the sight system that I bought. You pop out this pin. You remove the rear sight that folds up and down out of the bracket, and then your picatinny rail fits right in there just like this one did. And then it comes with this new bolt that you go through. I went ahead and I used red Loctite for everything that I mounted on here because people did complain a lot about this system, saying that you get a lot of scope not keeping zero issues because of jiggling and wiggling and everything else, and the bracket doesn't hold. I've shot probably 600 rounds through my rifle easily and never had an issue having to zero my rifle again after the initial time I sighted it in. Nothing. Not sure if I mentioned it, but this is all NC Star. The scope is a 2.5 by 30 fixed millimeter scope. It's a pistol scope actually, so it's a long eye relief, so that when I cheek the rifle way down here, I'm able to get a perfect sight picture through the scope. That's the way I wanted to go with this. The Picatinny rail system also is NC Star. It comes with your new pin that goes through where the old existing pin was, and then it comes with this little screw that goes up and down from the top of the rail, so that you can level this out to make sure it's all level once you put the bracket in there. This is my setup for my scope. Now you gotta realize, guys, this is what they call a peasant rifle. It was inexpensive to produce. They could just hand them to anybody, any old peasant, any person in the town, and they can function it with no problems. I mean, with a quick lesson, you know. Again, guys, this is the way I wanted to do my rifle. I wanted to set it up. I wanted to scope it. The scout mount looks really cool to me. It works really well. Again, I shot about 600 rounds at least through this thing. Never had any issues with the scope not keeping zero. Again, people badmouth this setup really bad online. Take it from me. Do it right. Use Loctite. Make sure everything's nice and tight. Get everything level. I used a level and everything when I scoped this thing. Take care of your rifle. Take care of the scope. Keep your lens covers on there. Always make sure everything's tight after you're done shooting, that nothing loosened up, and you'll never have an issue. This system works great for me, as you guys will see in the shooting videos. Feels like a real gun, you know. It's all wood stock. Everything's hard metal, steel. The bolt is my favorite part when shooting this thing. It's just this big old long bolt. I love that. Again, it shoots great, as you guys will see in my shooting videos, and it keeps zero after about 600-700 rounds. So I mean, this setup just seems to work for me, and I think if you guys give it a chance, you set it up all the right ways, using a level and the Loctite for all the little bolts and screws and everything, that this thing will hold true for you too. I had to bust out the old Army surplus ammunition. I had some ammunition that I was shooting before. I had ran out, so I had to bust open one of the old school cans. So some of you may be wondering why I'm loading one round at a time and then pushing the bolt forward and taking a shot. It just kind of makes me slow down and take my time on my trigger squeeze and things like that. I was putting 6 shots on paper at 100 yards here to get some kind of a grouping to see what I can do. So I was just loading one at a time, but there definitely is an internal magazine, and I do use it, as you'll see further in the video. So here's my target that I was shooting at 100 yards, 6 shots at 100 yards. Obviously you can see right here, I kind of got a little trigger pull happy. I must have pulled the trigger a little too much, trying to get ready for that kick, I guess. But then when I really calmed down, I got the breathing correctly, squeezing the trigger the right way. Again, $100 rifle with a $60 scope setup. It's 2 shots here, one here, 4 right there. About, I don't know, 1.5 inches. Not terrible, again, for a peasant rifle. Every time I go to the range to shoot this, I always put 6 shots downrange on some paper just to see where I'm at while I'm calm, not shaking. Hadn't had the rifle kick me a bunch yet, and then I go ahead and have fun on the plate.
I'm afraid I can't finish. Go on.
And there it is, guys. This is my Mosin Nagant M91. This is the setup I did for the scope. This is how I set mine up. NC Star rear sight mounting picatinny rail with the NC Star 2.5 by 30 millimeter fixed powered scope, pistol scope. That's kind of my review on this setup, my review on this rifle. I love it. It's one of my favorite guns to shoot. If anyone has any questions on the setup or how I did it or any other specifics, shoot me a comment. Hit me a like, subscribe, and a share, and I appreciate it, guys. God bless.